Any fucking thing. I don't care.
Hey! Because you're live. That's what I said.
Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening, brother. Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Right. Welcome everyone to the Village Radio Talk Show, where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, any point, starting from today. Um, where success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing to be successful? John, Dr. Sampson. And
Dr. Roderick, what's up, brother? What's up?
I am Roger Daly, your host. With me is Dr. John Sampson, our co-host. Dr. Joanne Bryant is working with our city with the different things with Merrill Control, so she will not be on tonight. Kudos out to our producer, Sophia Willisey, and our executive producer, Andre Doman, and all the villagers out there. We're excited to have you, to hear from you, speak to you. And today, John, you know what today is, John?
Yesterday was Andre's birthday. So Andre, happy healthy birthday.
Yeah, yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So you know what we're celebrating?
What are we celebrating?
Andre's birthday. You want to sing, or should I just sing alone?
Nah, Andre, happy birthday, healthy birthday, hip hip hooray. Let's move
Happy
on.
Birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
man.
happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andre. Happy birthday to you. Yeah,
Roderick, I want to pose this question. And it seems to be very difficult.
Hold on. I just want to make sure that the question don't make you excited that you use a word that you're not supposed to use. All right.
No. Is or has America been racist?
I don't know what is going on with Nikki Haley. I truly don't know what's going on with Nikki Haley. In one breath, she said she experienced racism as a child. And in the next breath, she says, America is not racist. Well, if you want true definition, America is a place. So the place itself is not racist if you want to be
technical about it.
Technical. So if that's what you want to say. But the people in America, not everybody, because you cannot speak in absolute. But she's out of her mind. You're running for the president of the United States. One, she golfed a couple weeks ago when she didn't acknowledge slavery. And now you say that racism is America is not a racist country. Last week you spoke about, John, blacks are last in economic wealth. They can't get loans from the bank and mortgages. They have to overprove themselves. Look at CEOs of 500 companies, right? 99% of them are white, with more than 50% of them white males. You tell me, John, is America a racist country?
You know what? Is America a racist country? America is composed of people. And are people in America racist? Yes, they are. Is the system racist? Yes, it is. There wouldn't have been the need for, you look at the Jim Crow laws, there wouldn't have been a need for the civil rights laws. There wouldn't have been a need for all the boycotts. There wouldn't have been a need for a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X. There wouldn't have been a need for there wouldn't have been a need for Harriet Tubman. So when you look at America, America in itself is composed of people. And are people in America racist? Yes. Are they racist to the extent they were in the past? No, because systems have been put in place. And you can't really stereotype a group of people. But what we need to acknowledge, that if we do not recognize history or talk about history when we can, it will repeat itself once again. So for Nikki Haley's inability to acknowledge that racism, even today, it does exist, but it existed in the past. Is America a racist country? America is composed of people, and people who have racial tendencies, who do not judge the people by the content of their character, but judge them by the color of their skin. And this is what conservatives don't want to talk about. This is the hard conversations that we need to have so we can move on. You know, it's the hard conversations that we need to have when we see so much anti-Semitism out here against the Jews. And why do they feel that way? It's the same issue when we're talking about those Palestinians in the Gaza who aren't those individuals who gain in those Hamas, who gains in terrorist acts. And you know, Harold Ford said something interesting. I listen to the Five a lot on Fox, which is incredible. You know, one thing I could say, for Judge Jeanine to even have been a judge and a prosecutor, it's amazing, because the vitriol that she espouses towards people who on the left, it's just amazing for someone to even imagine that she was once a judge and also a prosecutor, a DA.
Let me
finish this train of thought.
Okay.
And I think Harold Ford Jr. said, you know, I don't agree with Harold, because I think he's not forceful enough to espouse his own ideology on certain issues when he's on the Five. But he said the problem with us, Roderick, and the project with the left and the project with the right, the left and the right, is that we fail to call balls and strikes. What it is what it is, and you need to call it for what it is. And that's why people don't really trust elected officials, because we try to sugarcoat things. People respect you. People would rather you tell me a hard lie than a soft truth.
So you know, I want to add a few things to what you're saying, right? One, in America, we don't have as much overt racism like we did years years ago. As
Hmm.
John, if you just tune in, John spoke about some of the historical perspective of what racism looked like in America 50 recent in our recent history,
Hmm.
right? You don't have that. But now you have subtle racism or systemic racism.
Correct.
That if you don't acknowledge that this systemic racism is happening, you're doomed to continue the process. The housing disparity. You look at the school disparity. What's one thing? One of the things that you know is like if certain group of if your community in New York, you have the most secular group of individuals, most secular. So in one area, you have the Caribbeans. In the next area, you have the Jews. In
Right.
the next area, you have the Chinese, and so
Hmm.
forth and so forth historically, right? You could say this is Little Italy. Whereas in one breath, that sounds very good. But Little Italy is looking at Little China from the outside, creating ideas about their inside. And that's kind of like if I don't know you, John, if I've never content of your character, if I've never spoken to you, know what you're like, I'm formulating an opinion about you based up on something I don't know. So, yes, when a black person, especially a black male, walks into a fancy place, you get checked. You get double checked. You get followed. You might not in your mind think that you are racist for doing that. But when you look at the camera, how much do you follow the white patron? How much do you follow the Chinese patron? You're muted, right? How much do you follow the Chinese patron?
I think, Roger, when there's a lot of other things that come into play when you think about it. When you think about when we talk about crime, there's always the picture of the African American young man committing the crime or involved in crime. So therefore, there's that stereotype is that they may, person of color may be up to no good. That's
Right.
something that
Trayvon
unfortunately
Martin is a good
we
example.
we help create that stereotype by the constant, black on black crimes and engaging in certain activities. So therefore, we created that image in people's minds. But it's the same image that then people just run with it instead of just giving giving that person a benefit of the doubt, in which they choose not to. And I think the most glaring thing in that 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 we see, and finally we have been talking about it for years, for decades, Project. We talked about it, the two-tier criminal justice system. It's not until Donald Trump talks about it and the Republicans get entangled that they talk about this judicial system that we've been talking about for centuries plus. The way we are treated differently than those who engage in the similar activities. Like those who get caught with cocaine as opposed to those who get caught with crack, but those who get caught with cocaine get a lesser sentence than those who got caught with crack cocaine. It's just our inability to call it as we see it.
Yeah, I think part of that, John, is that it's a subject that makes people uncomfortable.
Yes,
And when we're uncomfortable, we don't want to talk about it.
that's true.
And I think like businesses, schools need to have that real race conversation. You go through
Roger, like what you said, we can have the conversations, but we don't need to let it dominate the way, some people want to dominate. That's a discussion that we need to have. Let's just have the discussion, move on. And that's what it is. It's about just dialogue. Don't get offended when we talk about it.
You
You know
know,
what I'm saying? Yeah.
the LGBTQ community,
Yes. Yes.
if I go to work, I have to go to training, sensitivity training.
Right.
I'm still not going to use no pronoun. I'm a man.
Right. Right.
Still not going to do that.
Mhm.
But you go through training to discuss the LGBTQ question mark community. Why is it? There's a training out that I did called implicit bias. What are your implicit biases? Those kind of trainings help you to understand, or not maybe not understand, but recognize that we all have. Right now, I was taught that I can't be racist because I cannot be racist because I'm not in the minority. I'm not in the majority. I could be prejudiced,
Mhm.
but I can't be. In order to be racist, the ism has to be the dominant, right?
Right. Right.
Or the person in power or control.
Mhm.
But I too, as a black man, have my prejudices
Right.
about the Chinese, about the this, and about the that. But I'm learning culturally. That's why sometimes I tell people you need to travel. You need to go and see
Good point. Good
different
point.
culture, different people.
Good point.
Different
Good
this.
point.
If you're insular and you're just watching social media, you're watching the news, you formulate these opinions about cultures that are just that true. But we also, like you said, perpetrate some of the negative things about our violent behavior
Mhm.
because we are not the largest group, not the second largest group, but we are number one in a lot of the negative component. Now, people can, I'm not a sociologist, it's not my job. So, the why are you committing all these crimes? Crimes of necessity, crimes of convenience, crimes of being idle, crimes of lack of education, whatever. At the end of the day, you're still killing, you're still murdering blacks on blacks, percentage wise and raw number wise, than any other race in the United States.
And,
So
and,
in
and,
a way,
mhm.
we are, right, as bad as it sounds, we are saying to these people, to other races, that blacks are violent. And remember, people don't
But
say
like, yeah, you're basically saying we're corroborating their
yes,
stereotype of us.
but what people don't understand, what we don't understand is, John, they don't know you. They don't
Mhm.
know me,
Mhm.
right? They know what they see about blacks.
Right.
And one of the things that tells students when I taught is, you could say that this school is bad, but the school itself is a building.
Right.
You're the students in it that create the atmosphere that generates the stigma that you're bad. If you do the right thing, then people can't call the school bad. They don't call Stuyvesant bad. And we sure as hell know that every student in Stuyvesant is not, they come in with their drugs, they commit suicide, they do negative things as well. But you don't look at Stuyvesant. You don't look at like some of the Dalton school or some other school as bad. You look at them as good, even though everybody is not
And also, Roger,
good.
we tend to as a people, when we succeed, we forget how we got where we are at. And as a result, at that point in time, we lose focus or lose understanding of those circumstances and those situations that we had to overcome to get where we are at. And then we feel once we've reached it, everybody can do the same thing, but it's not true. For our Justice Clarence Thomas to take full advantage of all that, the civil rights movement, all those things that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X did to put him in a position where he can become a Supreme Court justice, he forgets about those who did not have those opportunities, who, you know, needs to go back and grab somebody and bring them forward. So this is something that we as a people forget to understand, but we cannot let this topic, racism and all, just dominate our whole theory, our whole thought process. We understand that it exists. We understand that there's certain barriers that people place in the ways for us to overcome. Once let's overcome, let's look at, let's look at it. Let's work hard at it. Let's change the paradigm. And the only way we change the paradigm is through hard work and through success. And we change people's ideologies of what we are, who we are, and how we got where we are going. Because, for people to talk about, you look at what is it, the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, something
Right.
like that. When you talk about the former president of Harvard, Gay, and how she got her, they're saying all these other people were qualified. They always think that we get in these positions because of affirmative action.
I would like, John, one of the way when there's a problem, if I'm a gambaholic, alcoholic, or any other holic, there's the first you have to recognize that there's a problem.
Yes.
And if people like Nikki Haley will not recognize or in denial that there's a problem, then the problem cannot be fixed.
Won't be fixed.
So first we have to we have to let them understand that there's a problem. Remember, Trump didn't even recognize what happened in Charlottesville.
Yes.
Good people. Remember that.
Yeah. All sides.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand how there's a bunch of good people who are trying to destroy blacks. It's just you have to recognize that there's an issue and it needs to be resolved. You brought up a point that today's show is about prosperity in the village, right? How do we make ourselves better? And a lot of times our shows are about things that will make you better. And so we want to continue that. This is one of the topics that deals with prosperity, right? How do we allow cultural, not just the term melting pot, be a phrase of the United States, but a mantra of the United States? How do you make them realize that in order for you to have a real melting pot, there have to be real understanding, right? If you say we don't have enough white women on this job, we need to hire a few. Why you got to hire white women? Well, you don't have diversity, right? You don't have diversity. I don't know what a white perspective. I'm formulating my own, and I'm forming my own about white women, and I don't know anything. So I don't think it's wrong to say there should be a white male or a white female or a black male or this in a position because you want to create diversity. But that doesn't mean that you're going to take a person who's not qualified. I didn't say to take somebody who's not qualified.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So let's sure we get that right. You want somebody who is qualified, but you don't want to negate and say, "Oh, the person has to be." I'm denying this person off. Remember, a couple of years ago, the NFL put in the rule that you have to be inclusive of diversity when you're interviewing coaches.
Right.
In the last 10 years, the number of black coaches in the NFL has grown exponentially. At one time, it was just Mike Tomlin, who's now I think in his 14th year.
But also the acquisition, not the acquisition, the selection of African American as quarterbacks. Because before, we could not be quarterbacks because we lacked the intelligence.
Yep.
And now there is an African American quarterback that the NFL or team does not want to select in these
Yep.
drafts. So
And they get
and the
they
whole
get
point
countless
was
scholarships. They're right. They
right.
get countless
It's the whole
scholarships.
point. If if this whole ideal of the system be if it didn't exist, you wouldn't need these things. You wouldn't need the NFL to say, well, you have to go through certain criteria and give people a chance. The problem is you do not want to give them a chance because of you think they are not up to par when
Right.
it comes to,
Or
and people.
or that it's been a traditional white. It's the traditional Chinese. It's a traditional.
But it's like anything else, Roger.
Yeah.
Tradition changes. People adapt.
There you
Communities
go.
change. People adapt to the communities. You learn. That's why it's so important that we be open minded about things. We be open minded and look. We all have our stereotypes about what about things.
You
But we
know,
need to spend a little bit more time in learning about. And like you said, not being only confined to the four corners of your neighborhood, go out and expose yourselves to other cultures. Be cultured, you know, and in the sense of being cultured, you learn about different things, people, and you can learn how to relate to different people. But
and
that's one issue that really just
I want
got
to
me.
I want to ask you a question while we're on the subject
Right.
in terms of prosperity and diversity and
Hmm.
inclusion.
Right.
In 1998,
Hmm.
I had a student in my Spanish class, and she was struggling with Spanish. And her uncle called me one day, and he was yelling, and he goes, "She's in America." African American young lady. She's in America, and she only needs to speak English. And then you look at the Europeans, and all the Europeans, all the countries I've been to in Europe, they have to learn their home language and two other languages. So
Hmm.
most European at some educational level can speak English. Normally they will take English, they will take Spanish, and they take their native tongue.
Right.
But most of them will take English.
Hmm.
Do you think, as part of learning about, and you don't see a lot of the racist fights in a lot of these countries, not that they don't exist, but we don't live there, we don't see all their news, right? But we don't hear about it as much as we hear about it here. Do you think that learning, that we should make it a mandate from an early age that a child should learn at least one more language
No, I
and make it
totally
part of
agree.
the curriculum?
I totally agree. It expands your horizon. It expands your marketability in the business sector. It just I would agree with that. Learning different languages, it just puts you in another realm, in another realm of society. So I would truly love to see something like that. First of all, we have to make sure we master the English language because a
And
lot of us hasn't
it's
mastered the
funny,
English language.
John. It's funny when I tell people that you can't speak English, they get upset. But I ask, how many of you actually get over 1,200 on your SATs? Not
Right.
most of us didn't, right? So if you think about it, and it's an English test, right? So are you truly mastering English if you can't crack 1,000? But then yet, so what I tell people sometimes, all the time, there's a difference between being comfortable with something
Right.
and knowing something. Two different things. You know what I like? When when I travel to another country,
Right.
I went Italy, Greece. I find somebody I could communicate. I went to Serbia and I could find somebody to communicate with in English. We're in Hungary and go like, yeah, I speak English. Can't do it here, right? Can't do it here. So not that they're not people who speak these languages, but it's harder to it's like it's very difficult to find somebody who speak that language.
No, I agree with you, Roger, and that's why I just brought the whole issue of about early on about the comment about Nikki Haley regarding whether America is racist, and now we talked about the diversification in our education, especially comes to languages and traveling to just broaden our horizons and sometimes put an end to a lot of those stereotypes that exist. But just jumping to another topic, if you think about it, what's going on in the city council now with this whole having police officers pretty much write down every stop, every time they stop an individual or engage with a person or a citizen, they have to record it, memorialize it. And one of the mayors push back on it. A lot of communities support it because they want to know, you know, the interactions. Once again, they believe that the law enforcement has a certain stereotypes when it comes to communities of color that, you know, with you have young men who are pretty much up to no good, and as a result, to curb crime or keep crime or lower crime, you have to go on what is your perception and what's the presumption, what's the stereotypes. These are the things that they look at. But on the other hand, when you're trying to fight crime, do you have officers spend so much time on memorializing these things that prevents them from actually doing what they are supposed to be doing? That is just fighting crime or being a presence there. So
Right? So,
once
Johnny, we
again,
can talk
once
about.
again, it comes back to once
No,
again.
let me just bring
Yeah,
people up on what you're talking about.
yeah,
When a bill passed by the City Council on Wednesday, December 20th. I'm not sure Wednesday was December 20th, but it was passed December 20th, requiring police officers will be required to officially document most conversations they have with the public. It was a move that was opposed by Mayor Eric Adams and cheered on by police reform advocates. So this is what John is talking about, where the legislation was passed with 35 Democrats in support. All 7 Republicans voted no, along with 2 Democrats, Marjorie Velasquez and Eric Botcher, and another 3 Democrats abstained from this request. What are we afraid of, John? Go. You're saying something. I just wanted to pull people in on what you were talking about today. They're aware of the law. So you were saying, you know, this is part of defunding the police. Why do I need? Why does a police officer really need to?
Why do I need to tie their hands? Why do I need
Yes.
to tie their hands? But why do I need to tie their hands in work that they're supposed to do? We want police officers to engage in the community. We don't want them to think it's laborious for you. If I start talking to people in the community, I got to write down
Right.
or whatever. This is community policing. I want to see if I see Mrs. Daly outside. Hey, Mrs. Daly, how you doing? What's going on? Just checking up. On you, the family, anything going on in the neighborhood. Okay, let me write it down. I saw Miss Daly. It's like we're
Exactly.
keeping a journal. We're keeping a journal. I saw
And
Miss
you know,
Daly.
you
I
know what
asked
that
her.
does. You know what that does too, John. It makes people also. It works both ways, right? On the negative side, right? Because now you're going to make people afraid to even interact with police, because now their names are going to be mentioned, their location is going to be
What's
mentioned,
up, Big Mo? What's up, Big Mo? Good
right?
question, Mo.
Right. Andre just pulled that up. We're afraid, right? So at the end of the day, um, it's
We are afraid of what's Mo saying? We are
we're
afraid
afraid
of
of certain
certain.
communities. Not everybody has that portfolio. We're afraid of certain communities, right? It's people. People really are. you have to have guidelines and you have to have rules. You have the body cam, which I think is important, right? The body
Body
cam,
camera, yeah, I agree. The body
right?
camera,
Because
yes.
the body cam in itself is note taking, right? It's note taking. It tells you what the interaction is, right? But you are now you're doubling work and you're making the community afraid. And I think city council really made a big screw up with this, but it comes back from the concept of defunding the police. Stargirl, right? Good evening, everyone. Roderick, nice to see you. Thank you so much. On that note, I just want to give anyway.
What's up?
Went to the doctor yesterday. As you know, I'm very public with my fight. And I'm very public because I want all of you out there to please do your due diligence. If there's a problem, try to get to it. Went to the doctor, found out that I now have a second type of cancer called leukemia. It's leukemia is broken down to a chronic and acute. I have acute AML and AL, both types of ALL together. It's called triphenotypic leukemia, and I'm going to go through some hard treatment for over the next month. And I share, right? Because sometimes I'm going to be down, and I share, and every time somebody will call and let me know what's going on. But I'm sharing this because if you can catch the cancer early, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you to do your checkup, because I'm telling you that the fight ain't easy. The burden on you, the burden on your family, the burden on your friends. They don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know if you're coming or going. The psychological, emotional component. And if you catch it early, longevity is there. I don't really want to talk much more about it, but I'm going to have a hard fight in the next 2 months. Right? So I want to, and again, going back to the concept of prosperity, right? We need to do things that are going to make us prosper. I'm learning, and I hate the fact that I'm learning these things now, John. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're teaching about health, but I'm teaching you and I'm talking to you about it because now I'm experiencing it. I didn't put myself in a position where I was listening. I found out I had high blood pressure, John, because I hosted a health fair at my 11. I literally hosted a health fair, and I said, let me go check. I literally went to the health fair and I checked. So my blood pressure was high, went to the doctor. So we have to, don't just walk past the flyer, take the information, work with it, and see what's happening. And I love, please, all the prayers, all the comments, all the conversations, love it. Just keep coming. But for your own personal health, the fight is real. The battle is real. I was talking to, and I'm a publicly say my therapist, right? And she made a word for me, John, an expression, and I didn't realize that people saw me that way, and I didn't even see myself that way. But when she thought about it, I said, yeah, the epitome of the exemplar of resilience, right? And I love that expression. So, ladies and gentlemen, be a fighter. Be proactive. Let's be prosperous, right? Prosperity doesn't, and when we talk about prosperity, by the way, John, we're not just talking about money, right?
Right.
We're talking about health, we're talking about family, right? We're talking about friends,
Spiritual prosperity, moral prosperity. It's just basically just living a life that is the embodiment of 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 as we saying, we are our brothers and sisters keepers.
Yep.
let's try to we're not going to love one another, but we need to respect one another and respect who we are.
Important,
And
important,
and
right?
and, and that's the prosperity of
And we
just
need to grow, John.
man and womankind, just just showing the level of mutual respect, admiration, and appreciation for one another. We don't have to like you, but we respect what you're doing. We appreciate the changes that you're making because you're making us all look good. So,
Yeah,
getting back to what you're talking about, your health, Roderick, you know, and I have gone through my own challenges, and I take life one day at a time,
yep.
and I say to myself, God does not make mistakes.
No.
And, you know, everything is there is no testimony without a test. And that's what I want to say. What's up, Big Mo? And you're right.
Right.
There is no testimony without a test.
And John, you said something um also in your comment about respect. Ladies and gentlemen, I, I'm going to ask for you to stop thinking that people need to respect you and start thinking that you need to respect people. Because I'm not saying that people shouldn't respect you, but when you have to generate an aura of respect, letting somebody know, John, I respect you. Period. That means that opens up the door for John to respect me. If John don't want to respect me, then he's not in my space. But you can't, a lot of people will do things because, oh, I am John Sampson and you need to respect me. No, I don't need to respect you. But you know what I do? I should respect you because I expect the same in return from you. So always remember, it's about you showing that level of respect. Everybody's not going to do it, but you showing that, and always remember that somebody's always bigger and better than you. We want to move on to the next subject, John, but before that, I think we need to go to commercial.
Okay.
So let's do that. Yes, I do, Mo. I do take natural products, a lot of it. Sea moss, asavenga, elderberry, whole bunch of stuff, along with the traditional medicine. Andre, you ready for the commercial, or should we move on to the next topic? All right, so
No, we didn't finish the other topic, man.
On racism, we did.
No, not racism. We're talking about the city council bill.
Yeah, but we spoke. I think, like we said, it ties the police officer, right? I think it's a stupid bill. I think that the idea of the bill is important, but the actualization of the bill is stupid, because at the end of the day, like you said, John, if I'm sitting there writing down, I met with John Sampson, I met with Roger Daly, we discussed blah, 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 2 sentences, 3 sentences, blah, blah, blah. There's an emergency, it's a crime. What am I going to, a real crime? Right? If you always have to take notes as a police officer when you go to a situation. You have to take notes. You actually have to write it down. So now this.
Oh yeah, man. Another topic I want to talk about, man.
Wait. Let's see who's gonna. I want to make a shout out to somebody first, John, before we go into the next topic.
All right.
Andre, let us know when you're ready. Right. I want to shout out a young lady, John, that we lost last week.
Viola Plummer.
No, not her, but we could talk about her too. Claire Goring. Claire Goring in New York City and Guyana was instrumental in looking at the Caribbean diaspora.
Cultural. Yes, the cultural.
Right? When we met in 2004 and she wanted to bring the Guyana Folk Festival, I was so happy to be a co-sponsor, My 11 to be a co-sponsor. Put it out there, My 11. I think that same year, Jack Deo came. She had a tough battle with cancer. wonderful woman. I mean, I mean, a wonderful. A lot of you who part of her professional job, her profession was she was a writer, and she was to write like obituary. And so if you had your program, somebody died, you look at the bottom of it. Sometime it might have been written by Claire Gorin from different funeral home.
She wrote my mother. I think she wrote my mother's obituary. Yeah.
But in terms of her impact on the arts, the drums, the maypole, the dancing, all of those different things, right? It made she's going to be a loss. And I just want to announce that her funeral services will be Sunday from 5 to 10. And the family invites you to join them for a wake celebrating the life of Claire Goring at 1956 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 1123 at PEX. The funeral services will be at Vanderveer Park, right, on Monday. On Monday.
So the wake, where's the wake?
1390. I think that one I was not supposed to announce. It's the funeral I'm supposed to announce, which is Monday, January 22nd. John, I'll send it to you. Monday, January 22nd. At Vanderveer Park United Methodist Church. It's Monday, January 22nd, 3114 Glenwood Road, Brooklyn, New York. Viewing starts at 3 p.m. Tributes starts at 5:30. Services from 6 to 8, and a repast to follow. There will be Zoom information where as soon as that is provided. If you, ladies and gentlemen, go to Facebook and look her up. Claire Goring. She was sorely missed in the CARICOM Guyana diaspora, both here and abroad. Right? And you know, I just want to make sure I shout her out before I do anything. John, you were mentioning Vida.
Viola Plummer, man, she was a stalwart in the movement. Throughout New York City, throughout this country, and you know what she did for East New York, what she did for the just the movement of African American people, just people of color, and I just want to salute her and send condolences to her families, because she was truly a stalwart when it came to the advancement of African American education, culture, just African American period, to make sure we had our foothold here in this country. So I just want to shout out to Viola Plummer. May she rest in peace. As well as Claire Goring. Claire has done phenomenal work in our communities. She was a true icon to me when it came to the cultural aspects of the Caribbean diaspora.
All right, perfect. Andre?
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouth-watering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Want to get your personal income tax, business corporate tax, self-employment tax, quarterly tax, payroll tax, or sales tax filing done professionally?
Yeah.
Call U.S. Spirit LLC 718-676-0519 and take the worry out of your personal and business life. Tax compliance issues should be left to the pros. So when you want your business to grow, call the pros because a successful business matters. U.S. Spirit LLC also handles accounting, bookkeeping, business startups, consultation, real estate, and many more services. Call U.S. Spirit LLC 718-676-0519 and ask for Howard DaCosta, CEO, to book a 1-hour evaluation at no cost to you. Take remote control of all your needs and U.S. Spirit LLC will follow your lead. Want to work but don't have a social security number? Yes! Find out about getting a tax ID to pay your taxes. Call U.S. Spirit LLC or log on to www.usspirit.com. Team up for success.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're brought to you by Grace Family Adult Social Services. Please bring that adult out, have them have a good time. Contact, you can either contact via email at Grace Family Adult ASD. Sorry, Grace Family Adult at gmail.com. Or you can contact 347-962-7168. 1330 Utica Avenue is free once you have Medicaid, and you get some good food, man. And you could play games, play dominoes, do different things, and come out and enjoy. John.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of prosperity. Speaking of prosperity, I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get Howie on to talk about taxes. This is the time that we start doing taxes. Right? It's time we start doing taxes. So I think I'm gonna call and get him on and have a conversation around what to expect, what kind of breaks you need. You know, I was there. I know we have a couple other topics to talk about, but I've been having some conversation this week that kind of triggered some things, right? One of them is partner or susu or I don't know, other, when you put the money, I give you money, you're the banker. So we all give you money, and this week is my week, next week is your week, and so forth and so forth. Whatever that expression is called. I think it's called a susu or partner.
Susu partner, you're holding a hand or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times.
What about it? What about it, my brother?
It is a great way to save money, but it's not a great way to save money if when you get the money, you spend the money. Right? You have to have a reason why you're throwing the partner. Whether it's to pay off a bill, whether it's to put it together because you have a short-term goal of buying a house, and that partner guarantee that you have that money. One thing you could do once you make that partner draw, put it in a Roth IRA. Put it in something. But don't. I just throw a partner for $5,000. I got my money, and I'm gonna go buy a brand new pair of sneakers, a brand new this, right? Prosperity begins, right? You might not have the money, but throwing a partner is helpful if you can afford to. Now, some people go overboard, right? They throw a partner, and then they can't afford to pay their bills. That's not the point, right? You don't put the money away that now you're putting yourself in bad credit.
Right.
Right. But a partner is a very helpful tool in terms of prosperity, in terms of, John, you spoke of investment club.
Right.
People, you have skills, form a business. If you throw a partner, use that money to start your business.
Right.
It could be your startup money. And nobody has to start a business at a location. It all depends on what the business is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So your money has to work for you.
I think, Roger, that's, first of all, that's something that, financial education is very important. That's something that we lack, especially in the minority community, because honestly, we live from paycheck to paycheck. And, those who can engage, they use the hand or partner, or they use the susu as just a form of just making sure that somebody else is holding my money to save it. Because if I do it, I'm going to spend it. But the whole point of that whole susu should be, once I get my hand, I'm going to invest a certain portion. If I'm going to do a susu with somebody, it's all about, we should educate them about financial growth, how we can, take, once we get our hand, if it's a $10,000 hand that we have, you actually save $10,000. So what am I going to do with that $10,000? Am I going to spend it, or can I spend some of it? Can I pay some bills? But also I can also invest some of that money. I think just creating a plan. I think when you have these, create a plan of what you're going to do with it. Because honestly, it's just a form of savings getting out of your hand, because you won't save it. I won't put $500 aside every week. But you know what? If I'm in the susu, I have to put it, because that's my responsibility. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make it happen. So,
we have dreams, right?
Susu can be it could be also a form of discipline, just a discipline in saving,
we all have dreams, right? I want to do this, right? I want to have a hat company. I want to do design. I want to do here. I want to, but I just don't have the money. That brings me to my next point. MWBE. I've been arguing about this for a long time. In Brooklyn, right here, there's a project called the Shirley Chisholm Recreational Center. I sit on several committees, including head of the community board in which it is going to be in. So I sit in these meetings. There will be $43 million set aside for MWBEs, but I can't get one. So throwing a partner will help you form. You are a construction worker. You're an electrician. Throw the partner so you can get your license, so you can pay for the license. You know, when you talk about
well, what you're trying to say is you don't have MWBE contractors. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
For what project? I know quite a few MWBE contractors.
Send them my way.
I will definitely send them your way.
Right? Is SUSU legal? Yes, it is recognized in the United States as a way of savings. Yes, Lakeisha. It is recognized as a legal way of savings. So you can move the money from the SUSU to the bank. Yes, you can.
You're saving you're saving your own money, but you're having somebody else hold it for you.
Right.
That's all.
And so you're obligated. You're on the contract to give this. So she knows what it is. You just want to know if it's legal in the United States, and the answer is yes. Mm-hmm. So we can't get contractors.
Well, Roger, I don't know where you're looking, brother. I know there are quite a few contractors. I can name for you.
All right. Well, you know what? I need that email. I need them to contact me so we can figure out what to move forward.
I will have
All right.
definitely have contact.
Yeah, there's also going to be another project coming up that they're going to be doing some work on SUNY downstate. That's a significant amount. This Governor Hochul has, given some money, agreed to give it some money. I don't want to. Last night I stepped away a little bit from the press release. I was in the meeting today, but SUNY downstate is the only New York City public hospital. Blah blah blah. We don't. That's fine. We're incredibly proud of our diversity. Okay, that's not necessary. However, downstate has weathered years of financial instability and see many of the facilities fall into disrepair. That's what's important. Jeopardizing the viability of our hospital facility, the students, and so forth and so forth. That's why they announced that Governor Hochul has directed SUNY to develop a transformation plan that secures a sustainable future for downstate for the years to come. They're going to be doing renovations and they're going to need businesses. And it's coming right down the pipeline. With the necessary investment, we know we can provide a world-class medical school to our students, which basically means that they're going to do a lot of renovations.
Well, at the same time, you're doing renovations, but they're trying to cut some of these services to downstate too. So, we got to be mindful of that too, my brother.
Yeah, I understand, but they're going to, but I'm saying when you say neglecting your building, your infrastructure, that means that you have to rebuild. You're going to need the electrician. You're going to need builders. So if you have your license, you can start bidding on those things. Hey, what's up, JR? JR, John never gave me my invite. I'm just telling you, and I would like my invite.
Well, you know what, JR? Give me an invite right now, JR. Give him an invite right now.
Right.
So he has no excuses, man.
JR, so here, JR, I'm going to send you this. I'm putting my number right there so you have it, so you could send it to me. Forget John. John is unhelpful.
Kiss my ass, man.
Hey, you online, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize.
Right. That's my number right there. You can write it down, shoot me a message. And send me an invite to see what we can do. Because I think you said something was coming up. So that's about prosperity, right? You spend several thousand. A mutual friend of ours, John, Terry Coaxum.
Yes, Terry. She does. Terry's very helpful, and she got a couple of people I referred to her, like my good friend Filbert Giddings, another some of my Pakistani friends, some of my Indian friends. She has actually helped them get their MWBE status.
Right. And so she's there. We if you have a business and you want to get MWBE status, the point that I'm mentioning names is that we can help you through the process. The only thing that I have a problem with, John, is I'm going through all of this, but yet still people are saying, here, give me the contract in my hand. I don't have that kind of power, right? I have the power to sit at the table, get information, get it to you, connect you.
That's all it is,
right?
That's all. That's
but
all
I
you
can't
need.
give you the contract, and I can't cut corners either.
Nobody's asking you to cut corners. So
no, but some people think you can. I have a friend right now I have a friend right now who thinks that I could have done something, and I kept telling them I cannot do that. I can have a conversation, but they just believe like, oh, you can do. This is not Jamaica, right? You can't just.
What does that have to do with not being Jamaica? I mean, that's just
because in Jamaica sometimes you can grease a palm and move forward.
In America, you do the same thing too.
You're right. You're right. But it's easier in Jamaica, and the palm that you have to grease don't really. Sometimes it's just lunch money, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's lunch money. I mean, if somebody told me like you pay a certain amount of money, you don't even have to take the road test. You automatically pass your driver's license. But if you drive very well, but you didn't pay the money, you fail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a known thing even by the prime minister,
right?
And it's acceptable, right? But anyway, so the MWBE, very important. She's very busy right now, but I will try to get her on Rodney's Assembly Member Rodney's Bashat to talk about how her office can help you with your MWBE Okay. All right. Let me write that down. Right. John, you got the number in your phone for JR? 416? Reset Awards.
Yes, that's in
All
June.
right.
I think it's have something in June.
Yeah. All right. So I'll link you. I'll link you for that, Andre. Don't put that up on the screen, Andre. All right. So the reality of the situation is there are dollars out there that we're leaving at the table that we can get that we're not getting.
Well, Roderick, so why don't you do this, Roderick? Why don't you, through your community board, get people who are interested in becoming MWBE, setting up a seminar, and people like Terry Coxon and them can sit down and they can help them to be, because the MWBE, it's, because I'm in the process of doing it for the company that I work for, becoming MWBE, and it's a lot of the paperwork and stuff that you got to have. And that's what it comes down to. So maybe you set something up for the people in the community, a forum, help them become MWB.
I like that idea. I'm gonna say she's a doctor now. She just got her honorary doctorate.
Yes, Dr. Coxon. Yes,
Dr. Coxon now. So you know what? I'll follow up with her and see what she says about that. I think that's
yes. Okay.
But maybe the village can sponsor it.
Also, Tanisha too.
Tanisha
from
does
State.
it. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. So we have some leads.
We can invite both of them down. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So we could work on that. What are some other things that are happening? So what was, it kind of touches a little bit on the racism that we started off the show with Trump calling Nikki Nimrata.
Yeah, you know what? That in and of itself is just that's just a dog whistle. Him just reminding people that Nikki Haley ain't one of us. She's an immigrant, and that's what Trump does. And you know what? This is what This is why I really have lost like media, like Fox News. That's something like that's not right. You call them out. You know what? You never used that before. This is what we're talking about. To the far left, to the far right, just calling what it is. That was a move to create some sort of animosity towards an immigrant, to let them know Nikki Haley is not one of us. She is not a native. She's not a native. So be careful now. And it's so subtle.
I want my Proud Boys. I want my Proud Boys to know that she ain't really white. She ain't
and that is just so disgusting. But you know what? That is why America, as they say, is America racist.
Yes. So now she's feeling what that means, right? And to me, I think, but it plays on who he is, and that's gonna hurt her. It really is, right? And congratulations to Donald Trump for his victory in Iowa. Last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
This week we're talking about New Hampshire primaries coming up. So congratulations to Donald Trump on his victory. There's one other thing while speaking about the politics. Nikki Haley has stated that she's not doing any more debates until Donald Trump shows up. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. Donald Trump is.
Hi, Tanya. How you doing? And welcome to the show.
It's not. We know the race is about Donald Trump. So, Nikki Haley's right. I wouldn't do no debates. Why am I debating Ron DeSantis? DeSantis, he's running out of money. Although he came in second place in Iowa, but we'll see how he does here in New Hampshire. So, you know, I don't think that is warranted at this point. You know what? There's no reason for her to debate. I wouldn't debate. Let me debate Trump. So you know what? However, however, I would definitely have the town halls and just take questions from the people. I would definitely do that.
I agree with you, but I'm going to add one more to it. My
Mhm.
foot soldiers.
Mhm.
I want to get my foot soldiers out in New Hampshire,
Mhm.
getting people out to know me. But you're right. What more are you going to say to each other? The man has a double-digit lead and has not debated anybody. He's in court. He doesn't even show up to the state. Like, you can
And, and,
argue.
and, you- and you wonder, how does he have such a stronghold
Yes.
on
You
that
know,
segment? It's those people who, it's those who just, you know what's odd? He is not one of them.
no, it's not.
He did not have to struggle.
The people don't know that.
He did not have to struggle. So how can you say that he's one of them? What they can say
He's one
is
of us. No, he's not. No.
he's not one of us, but you know what? He says what they are thinking, but they're afraid to say.
Yep. Yep. And they don't understand that he's Teflon Don, or whatever the expression is, that nothing sticks, but it will stick on you. Look at all those people with the insurrection. It stuck, right? Um, and they have to get that through their heads that you're not him, and he's a fraud, right? He's a fraud to a large extent. How much money you got to pay out? So his peers are finding him
You know
guilty.
what? And what's odd, when I look at some of these things, they talk about these economic things. He says nobody got hurt. The banks got their money. You got a lot of victimless white collar crimes, and people went to jail for. So
Yep.
come on now. It's just amazing when I listen to the media, how Fox News, especially Fox News, that's why they had to pay almost $1 billion, close to $1 billion, because of their inability to, they always say fair and balanced. They are far from fair and balanced. They're only concerned about their own ratings, you
Yeah,
know?
and I don't like the fact. I don't like the fact that they mislead purposefully in information.
Not only misleading, then
They
they got
lie. I
then
don't
they
want to
got
use the word lie.
then on Fox and Friends in the morning, oh, they had to put the token black guy Lawrence on. All them years, you know, how many times did they put a black person on, a person of color? So I mean, you call it for what it is. America, call it for what it is. You know what? The country in and of itself, are we racist? America, but it's the people. It's not America, like you say, it's a place.
Yeah.
But it's the people who are here who are racist. Acknowledge it.
And John, the people in power. That's the big issue. Because you and I being racist, we're not in power. But the people in power who make decisions are doing subtle racist things. Get
And,
rid
and,
of
and you know what
me.
and it is, you know what it is? I just think, there's no more camaraderie like there used to be in Congress. You had Tip O'Neill, we can fight on the floor, but at the end of the day, we can go out and have a drink together or have a meal together, understanding that we're fighting for our constituents, but at the same time, there's no bipartisanship. They don't want to help they think it's their way or the highway. There's no sense of compromise. Hey, what's up, Eddie? there's no sense of compromise. They feel if you compromise, it's just a sign of weakness. The Congresswoman Green in Atlanta, the vitriol that she espouses. And then you look at Stefanik from the Congresswoman who
From
Trump
Staten
is
Island.
thinking, yeah,
Mhm.
who's thinking about
Nicole
possibly
Stefanik.
being a V, Stefanik being, and she's proud that she was able to take down, two of the presidents at these prestigious institutions. You know what I'm saying? But she's not proud. But she's not concerned when on January 6th, when just to digress for a second, one woman, villagers we need to support. We need to support this woman. I think it's she's Crockett from Texas, man. She's on the oversight committee. She gives it to the Republicans every chance she has. She tells them the truth, and they do not like it. You have to catch her out. This woman Crockett from Texas, man, in that oversight hearings, she really brings it to him, man.
You
You
know,
need to check her out. You need to check her out on these when they do these hearings for the oversight. She
you know,
really lays it into those Republicans. But
I was
but
watching Jimmy Kimmel live.
right,
I didn't
right.
get to see the actual fiasco last week with Hunter Biden, where Hunter Biden apparently asked the oversight committee to he wants his hearing to be public. So he wants the American people to hear what he has to say. Right? They want to do it closed door and then give their representation outside of closed door. He said, no, I don't want to do that. So while they did what they did, they called a public press conference to state that he's not coming. He shows up, right? He shows up to the hearing in a public way and say, hey, we're here. I'm here now. I'm willing to testify. So they didn't want to do that because they want to do it. And I'm like, well, you're talking about the president's son. America wants to know what's up. And we can make our own decisions based upon what we see and what we hear.
Well, Roger,
Right?
That's not the
Hold on.
case. It's all
Wait.
about spending.
I got to tell you the joke, right?
Right.
So they wanted to hold him in contempt and blah, 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 right? And they want to do whatever for him not showing up to the subpoena. So the ranking Democrat, the guy from California, can't remember his name right now.
You mean Shifty Schiff?
No, not Adam Schiff. Is another one. He has the slick back here. Maybe he's
not Raskin. Not Raskin.
I think it is Raskin, but he might
But
not.
Raskin's from. I think he might be from Delaware. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's one of those. I don't remember. Anyway, but he goes, well, if you want to hold him in contempt, well, we kind of want to hold the 6 Congress people or the 6 members of the Trump's cabinet who refused to testify before
Jim Jordan, the one who's
one of them is Jim Jordan.
Yeah, Jim Jordan, yeah.
Who refused to testify in front of Congress.
Yes.
So why should he be held at a higher standard? And you let the other 6 Republicans go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I believe that's a fair question. What do you think?
We know that's more than a fair question. We know that.
Right? So, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is I don't know how she this is her 3rd term. It's her 3rd term. I don't even know how she got elected.
And Tracy, you're right, man. How the hell, all that commotions that this guy did on January 6th, people lost their might this guy might become might be elected as president. That's one, I think people don't realize how deep that is. And she said, and Crockett said, he says, hold on. Y'all want to talk about y'all can talk so much about Donald Trump. Y'all can talk about the insurrection, which y'all say wasn't an insurrection. But she said all of y'all were running when they were coming when they were coming to the when they came to the congressional hall, she said all of y'all were running. I didn't see y'all not. I didn't see y'all stop and greet them. All of y'all ran because y'all were afraid of what they would do to you.
Right. And hey, right. It's just interesting when you think about the double standard, and that's so which now brings me to my next topic of double standard:
Mm-hmm.
migrants. No, not the migrants. The war in Israel. The Republicans and the Democrats are both blindly supporting Israel,
Okay.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's their ally, and
Mm-hmm.
we support our allies.
Right. True.
The Democrats are getting crushed. Joe Biden is getting crushed. The Republicans, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain this to you. The Republicans have the same exact vote on the issue as Joe Biden. But what the Republicans are doing is sitting back and relaxing, right? Sitting back and relaxing, watching Joe Biden, watching this conversation about us as Democrats. Oh, we're not going to support Joe Biden anymore because he's supporting the war and he's supposed to be supporting Palestine. The Republicans are doing the same thing. So if the Republicans are in power, they will be supporting Palestine. You know what the difference? I mean, supporting Israel. You know what the difference is? The difference is the Republican would have stood behind Donald Trump. But they're both for Israel. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us not use that argument as a justification for saying why you cannot support Joe Biden, because the Republicans are doing the same thing.
Man, we don't have discipline. We don't have discipline. We don't have discipline.
Not only do we not have discipline, we don't have understanding. We based our things on ignorance. It doesn't matter who. Why do you think George Bush went into Iraq? Right? We are not for, in most cases, the Islamic regime. That's why he went. And guess what? Guess what? He got a second term. The Democrats were up in arms. Up in arms. The Republicans rallied behind their president. If you're not going to vote for Joe Biden, don't use the war in Israel as the justification, in Gaza as the justification, because the Republicans are doing the same thing, and they're not going to tell Israel. Joe Biden is now feeling some pressure, and he's asking. But what you need to do is inform Joe Biden that we are unhappy. We want you to look at this. We don't want to lose the relationship, but we also don't want him to continue some of these behaviors that are happening. At some point, enough is enough. Sometimes even a killer gets tired of killing.
Yeah,
Hey, Auntie Maureen, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
And it goes back to, even if you think about the situation where, even our own mayor, the mayor has to deal with the migrant situation. And, he's not the only one. Looking at Chicago, you're looking at Colorado, in which these migrants are being placed.
They're overrun. Yeah,
it's overrun. And then, for our members to really challenge the mayor on, this situation and what's he doing with the migrants. You know what? If they were in the same predicament, what would they do different? And now you got Scott Stringer, who's putting a committee together thinking about running for mayor for the Democratic primary. Why is that? Why is that? And don't give me no excuse. We're talking about migrants, him being under investigation, and all of this stuff. Look at Donald Trump. He has all these. He has all these counts. All of these counts. All of these counts against him in all these different courts. But his people don't waver 1 ounce.
No,
But
they don't.
our people, you know,
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna try to refrain from saying our people. I'm gonna try to say the Democrats.
the Democrats. Okay.
Right? The Democrats can't. You last week I said Democrats have short-term memory,
Yeah, short-term memory. Yes, they do.
right? And you know, and that's a problem, right? I think the migrants, John, is a real issue.
We know that.
But the migrants is not a Mayor Adams issue.
No, it's not. It's a Joe Biden issue.
No, well, yes, but it's not. It's not Joe Biden alone. It's an
No,
American
it's
issue.
the border, brother. We need to do something about the
Hold
border.
Hold on. It's an American issue, right? It's an American issue.
Mhm.
Joe Biden is at the top.
Right.
Can he create a wall? I don't know. Can he put more manpower? I don't know. What we do know is that if he asks for money to do something on the border,
Mhm.
which is what the Republicans are asking for, they're going to veto any budgetary thing because he's a Democrat, and we're Republican.
True. I think what there was Congressman Nell from, I think, Texas, who said, why should I do anything to help the Democrats or help Biden? You know, I'm just the automatic no, because he's just concerned about his own he's not concerned about what's good for the American people. He's concerned about what is good for his party so they can remain in control.
Exactly. So the fact of the matter is, and when the Republican and we as Democrat, as the Democrats, funnily, if Trump was to be reelected because of the issue of the border, the Democrats are jumping the bandwagon. Oh, this is bipartisan. We must approve it.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. You didn't approve that, so I'm not going to approve this.
Mhm.
We need to kumbaya, right? My nickname, right? We need to kumbaya
Yeah.
and work together
Yeah.
because there's no loyalty. So
You know that.
So
Democrats have no sense of loyalty.
right? So it's the Democrats who have no sense of loyalty versus the Republicans who have complete sense of loyalty will veto anything. Not veto, but vote against
Because
anything.
if that was a Democrat who had all those counts and everything against them, our Democrats would say, "Oh, you need to step out.
Yep.
You need to resign. You need to step out. You need to step out. You need to resign." Man, that's what we are. We Democrats are holier than thou. But you
Yes.
know what? They're the biggest hypocrites around.
And it's funny because at the end of the day, the truth is you had a governor that you asked to resign that when it came out did nothing wrong. And you have a former president with 94 counts against him and growing. I think there are a couple more. Second time he's going to be charged. He's going to have to pay money to this woman because he was found guilty.
Not guilty, liable.
Well, liable for damages, and he has to pay that. And it's proven over and over again that he's actually is guilty, is capable of what he's accused of. When he didn't pay his taxes, he says, "You're stupid. You're stupid for paying taxes."
Mm-hmm.
So they voted for him anyway. And over again, we as Democrats, I keep saying we, and I know it's correcting you, so you need to correct me, John, when I say that. Democrats need to understand that what's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. And they don't get that at all. So Jean Carroll in the defamation case, so they're waiting for what the settlement would be, right? Here's a twist. The Republic of South Africa lawyers.
Hold on. Before you get in there, before we go there, you know, the situation in Atlanta with the DA. Motion was made by one of the defendants questioning the validity of their case based upon the alleged relationship that the prosecutor has with one of the special counsels, the special prosecutors that they hired to bring this case. And it is remarkable to me that, if true, the DA would put herself in a position knowing who she is going up against. You know, and if I was that person's lawyer, I would argue the same thing too. You know, how can, you have to be, when you're a prosecutor, but if you see something there that is questionable, you need to raise it to the prosecutor. But how is that possible if she has relationships with one of the special counsels who may differ on bringing charges on a certain candidate or even proceeding? So, my point to that is this is exactly what we've talked about earlier. This is exactly the stereotypes they have of us, meaning that, one, that we're incompetent, one, that we're corrupt, we don't know what the hell we're doing. We just feed into what they perceive of us. And then when she's at the church, she says it's racist. This is racist because he's the only one they're going after. It's not racist. The only reason they're going after him is because you and him may have a perceived relationship. You don't have a perceived relationship with the other two, irrespective of whether they're white.
True. So this is
Fani Willis.
This is the Fani Willis.
Fani, I think Fani, not Fanny.
Yeah, Fani Willis. So Trump co-defendant accuses Georgia DA of improper relationship with the prosecutor, which can jeopardize, which is what John is talking about. So this just came out last week, and one of the former campaign official who is now one of the former presidents of 14 remain co-defendants in the Georgia trial accused the district attorney leading the prosecution of an improper relationship with an outside attorney she made special counsel for the case. So basically what they're charging her is a conflict of interest in their, well, obviously inappropriate relationship, but conflict of interest because she.
I don't know if it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal, but it's just,
it's inappropriate.
It's a question, inappropriate ethically, could it how does it look? Irrespective of whether it looks good or not, as long as it's legal.
Ethically and morally incorrect.
It's just ethically. Is there ethics violation?
John, here's the funny part about this whole story. Who were three of Trump's advisors? His daughter, his son,
Mhm.
and his son-in-law.
Right.
So he appointed his family, gave them jobs, but that wasn't ethically, morally. I mean, I'm
Well,
not
no, no,
saying
no. Yeah, I mean, you can do that for it's nominal. You can do that. You can do that. What he did was, and they weren't being paid, so he can do that.
no,
But
but I'm just saying like the aesthetics of it is not pleasing.
it's not pleasing. But he can legally do this. The same thing. It's Finding
Again, it's
Willis.
the same
She
thing here.
probably can. It's. I think she can legally do it, but I think not. I think she should have been more transparent, or she should have known that this was going to this at
That's
some
fine.
point in time.
This is a high level case, and
High
somebody's
level case that this could cause unnecessary attention to it, put it in a negative light, when what she did was, that's fine. It's, even I had a relationship with him, but he performs the work, he can do the work. Okay, I acknowledge I have a relationship. I'm the one who making the decision. He's just prosecuting the case.
Eddie went back to a comment that we were talking about. Before I do that, Andre from Sherry, just making sure that happy birthday to you, shouting you out, and so just shouting that out. Eddie, John and I are in 100% agreement. Al Franken should not have resigned, nor Cuomo. Democrats are not loyal to their party; they're loyal to themselves and how it looks to them. And I keep saying Democrats don't, well, they will lose because Democrats constantly are not loyal to themselves. Like, just like how the conversation around Joe Biden, and I'm not going to vote for him because he supports Israel in this war. And it's a fact that the Republicans, whoever would be president, would be supporting Israel in this war. Because did you hear the head of the minority leader in the Senate condemn the war? Did you hear the majority leader, the Speaker of the House, condemn the war?
Nope.
Did you hear any of the leadership on the Republican Party condemn the war?
Nope. Nope.
So if the leadership, did you hear Donald Trump, the front runner, condemn the war?
Not at all.
So at the end of the day, both sides have allegiance to Israel. Democrats are not loyal. Oh, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote for him. It's the same person you're voting for. It's the same concept. It's the same identical belief system. Israel cannot be wrong. So, yeah. So the next topic is about South Africa making a bold move, having their lawyers prepare a lawsuit against the United States, UK, for complicity in Israel's war crimes in Gaza. Do you think so? Backdrop: South Africa is saying that Israel is committing war crimes against the people of Gaza and they're committing genocide. The country's nearly 50 lawyers are preparing a separate lawsuit against the United States and on the grounds that they are complicit in Israel's forced war because they're still supporting Israel. Israel in the war. The initiative, led by South African lawyer Wikus van Rensburg, aims to prosecute those who are complicit in the crime. Rensburg, who has been writing letters to various countries and the ICJ for the last few weeks, demanded that Israel and its supporters be prosecuted. So he's looking at Israel for committing war crimes, and he's looking at United States, UK, and their allies to be complicit. Do you think that United States and United Kingdom should be on this lawsuit, or is it one of those lawsuits where I'm just going to list everybody? right?
You know what? I mean, that's the perception. That's what the South Africa believes, that these war crimes are being committed against the Palestinians over there in Gaza. And United States is complicit because they're assisting Israel in their fight with not the Palestinians but Hamas. So you need to differentiate the two. But the bottom line is this: we were South Africa before the October 7th terrorist attack. Why weren't we part of a global conference trying to merge to bring peace in the Middle East? We wait for the conflict to exist, and now we want to come out and bring charges against the country who is basically trying to prevent any further loss of life from now into the future between the Palestinians, between the Hamas and Israel.
So John, at which point, I've been saying this over and over again, I don't blame Israel for retaliating.
No, not at all. I don't.
I think that Benjamin Netanyahu needs to be brought up on war crimes by his own people.
Why did you say that?
Because he was aware of what needs to happen. But that's another subject for him. He was aware, and he could have done something to get more intelligence to stop it.
Okay.
However, that's not the point of what I'm going to say. But at which point are you going to say, it's been almost 3 months, if not 3 months, that this beatdown is happening? What is the personal satisfaction that you're going to gain? I mean, he did say he wants to wipe out Hamas, but in the midst of wiping out Hamas, you're wiping out Gaza and you're wiping out Palestine. At which point do you think that you're going to say we need to step back? Or is it that my adrenaline is rushing right now? I don't care who. I'm sorry, but I don't care who is in the process. At which point? That's where my issue is.
And then that's the point where sometimes you're that's why sometimes when does your anger subside?
Yes.
When does it subside and realize that, you know what, there are human beings on the other side of this,
and there's too many of them that are lost, that have been lost.
So it comes to the point of when you're going to decide. When are you going to decide you stop being mad? You stop being mad and stop being pissed off and start thinking rationally. You know, if I continue on this route, what's going to eventually happen?
And what will I look like? What will I be remembered as?
Well, he doesn't. Remember, they got the hardcore over there. He doesn't really care. I'm not a Netanyahu fan at all. So
yeah, I think enough is enough at this point. I want to move on to a subject that's affecting the North. The weather.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. I unfortunately have to go outside a few times in this weather. John, Dr. Sampson, it is not warm out there.
It's cold, brother.
I spoke to my uncle who lives in Texas. He lives in the Houston area. He said school was closed for 2 days because of the weather. Atlanta, do you attribute New York City saw snow for the first time in over 700 days? Granted, it wasn't snow, but
that snow eventually turned to ice, my man.
Yeah, but I'm saying it wasn't snow like, go bobsledding.
Right, true.
but it's cold.
It is.
People, you got to bundle up out there. Whether
Uh-huh.
this is the time where you get really sick, and tomorrow is going to be extremely cold.
Right.
And expect snow as well in the New York City area and across the Northeast. Right. Everything I find like people blame things a lot to global warming.
Right.
I remember back in 83, we had a major snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in 96 that they had delayed school openings,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I remember having one Christmas, I was outside in shorts playing football.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we're talking about in the 90s, maybe
Right.
even in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So the point that I'm making is, and I try to always say that things are cyclical in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe next year is not going to be so cold.
Right.
Maybe in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks. I remember one year we had many years ago, more than 20 years ago, we had snow in April. Like towards the end of April or something like that, we had snow.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we have to be careful to not label things. There's not a point for stepping back for Netanyahu who will never give in to two-state solution side by side. That's part of the problem.
That's
So,
yeah.
So what do you want? So I mean, at the end of the day, is he trying to say that all of Palestine need to come back to Israel, and Israel become the ruler of that region? That's interesting. But people, it's cold out there. So whether it is global warming or not, layer up. Don't go outside unless you have to. Stay warm.
Try to stay warm the best you can. It's a lot of heating, and a lot of heating companies are very, very busy during this time of year.
Yeah. And by the way, advice, ladies and gentlemen, check your meters, man. Check your meters. These companies are robbing you blind, left and right. Check your meters.
Mm-hmm.
Check your meters out there. Well, New York City asylum seekers battling frigid temperatures, standing in line for ID cards, hospital care, and more. Right. You see the lines out there for anything. I saw somebody there, the free food line. I saw people standing up there today.
Yes.
And it was cold. And for you people, we have to have some compassion for somebody to be not everybody. Some people are just really greedy, to be very honest. Right. But most people who are out there, who are standing in line for the little food, the little grocery, they're doing it because they're hungry. And for them to be doing it in the cold, it gives you two situations. It's cold and they're doing it, and two, the dire straits as it happened in America. But in terms of the asylum seekers, also the migrants, asylum seekers are migrants. Maybe they should look at indoor facilities. Why they stand up on the line outside? So it's in the cold overnight. Brooklyn, for the city issued ID, the city ID NYC,
right?
So they everybody should get one. ID NYC. It gives you free access to the library and to some museum. You should get it so you can go with your kids and go hang out. Right? The city's discouraging waiting outside. Right now, outside, I don't know what the temperature is, but I could tell you in 2 minutes that whatever the temperature is, right, it ain't warm, right? In New York City right now, it is 32 degrees outside, but it feels like 35 with the wind, and it's going to drop.
Can you imagine if you were in Iowa?
Oh,
Missouri, yeah.
right? And it is crazy, right? It is crazy out there. So it is very very dangerous. Check on the elderly, right? Check on the elderly, the sick who are in your buildings next door to you. You know, make sure they have food, cup of soup, right? You make sure all of that is happening because it is brick. It is brick out there.
I mean, it is brick, but we had temperatures far worse than this, my brother. So just bundle up, layer up. You know, limit your movement if you don't have to move. If you can work from home, it's possible. Work from home. You know, just stay warm.
Call in and ask. Andre, don't stop playing that music. Give me 1 minute. I have two things to announce before you do that. One, remember that we talked about the boycotting the businesses. Talk about the greed of America. I believe the date that I had said was May 23rd. So I would like us to think about boycotting the greed. Think about what we are going to boycott, and boycotting. We're going to talk about supermarkets because people need food. We just talk about that online. And the second thing is the congestion pricing. The Lower East Side residents are now the latest to file lawsuit against New York City's controversial congestion pricing law. We're saying we're not a tale of two cities, right? We're not a tale of two cities. It's not about rich and it's not about poor. It's about being in New York City. One New Yorker, one craziness, this congestion. And now with, you know, as I spoke about my treatment earlier, I'm expected to be in Manhattan on a regular basis, right? Congestion pricing is going to kill me. Well, you know, figuratively speaking. So, and so we are telling you, you know, be proactive. May 23rd, the date that I'm setting that we do across the nation, fight against greed, corporate greed, and say America needs to give back to America and we shouldn't be at this level. Happy birthday again, Andre.
Happy birthday, Big Andre. Yes.
Happy birthday to my to Christina. Today's her official birthday. My son, Andrew. Happy birthday. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to Ian.
Next week we'll celebrate your birthday on the village, my brother.
Yes, next week will be mine and TK's birthday, and Paulette and Dave and a few others. So happy birthday to everyone. Great month. Great people out there. Villagers, we love you. Keep us up. Continue to participate, listen, share the village, because we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and capable life through education. Helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today, where success is not just spoken, it is done. Stay warm, stay strong, and don't forget, we're looking for your topics that you want to talk about. Send it in to the village show 30 at Gmail, or hit me up on that phone number that I left there, 646-504-5778, and we can talk on any issue that you might have. God bless you.
God bless.
Joanne, we miss you. Good night.
All right, good night.